Welcome to the 13th episode of Talking ETV, and I'm already laughing. Tamaj, please introduce yourself so we can talk shit about Game of Thrones.
Y'all know me, Tamaj from Big Bro and Little Sis Reacts. Ready to talk shit and eat.
Yeah, this wasn't pre-planned. It just came about because it just so happened we was both watching Game of Thrones, and me taking a break for like 2 months after watching season 5, episode 6, I want to say it was. He caught up to me, and we basically on season 5. He just finished season 5. I need to finish the last 2-3 episodes, but so come to find out we're both watching Game of Thrones and we're sharing the same pan, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. What are you eating?
I'm eating a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. I got me a Greek yogurt parfait from Chick-fil-A.
On the styrofoam plate.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to warm it up in that weird material they have because you know me, I don't want nothing to explode or nothing crazy. So then, but yeah, I got strawberries, blueberries, and cookie crumbs in this yogurt. Then I made a strawberry mimosa. So I used, because I don't cook like Michonne, I drink. I'm a part-time bartender. Not really. And so I got
mixologist.
Yeah, Sagara Vivadas. I never tried this. This is the champagne I'm using. Then I use strawberry daiquiri mix and Simply's lemonade. And I mix it together with ice and voila.
So that's my recipe.
Oh yeah, I keep all my recipes written down for all the cocktails and stuff I make. Because anytime we have a family function, they want me to make drinks.
Oh, okay. Not the dog barking.
She cussing somebody out. It's okay. She do that on a daily basis.
My favorite strawberry kombucha. Creamy and spicy oyster mushroom pasta that y'all will have already had seen me cook for the beginning of this video. If you're on the podcast, please look at it on YouTube. I don't put the cooking part on the podcast platforms all the time because, you know, I be having to get my audio together.
Right.
I want you to start it off. How did you feel when you watched the first episode of Game of Thrones? Like, just, what was your first reaction?
Well, so I had seen the first episode years ago because this show was popping. Like, it was always talked about on the internet. So I seen it a few years ago. I tried it. It wasn't for me for obvious reasons. I mean, it throws a lot at you. I'm talking like, well, you start off with the White Walkers, so I'm confused because I thought this was a grounded show about sword fighting and shit, you know, all that crap. So you threw zombies at me, so I'm like, okay, what am I watching here? And then you know, we're gonna get into all of it, but you know, with Cersei and Jaime, and then like it was too much. Like I didn't know what was going on. I was probably 13 at the time, so it just wasn't for me.
Oh my God, I be forgetting how old Game of Thrones is because wasn't it on at the same time as Walking Dead?
Yeah, and that's why I watched it because I'm like, well, everybody talk about Game of Thrones. I'm like, they say, you know, people would be like, oh, it's better than The Walking Dead. I'm like, ain't nothing really better than The Walking Dead. But so I just tried it out and it wasn't for me. So when I got back into it, I let YouTube choose my next show. They said Game of Thrones. I said, all right. It turned me off when I was younger. Let me try it now. I'm a little bit older. But I was still confused. I mean, like, I was lost.
I wouldn't watch that shit neither.
Yeah, like, it probably wasn't a show that I would watch on my own. Like, if I had not had the encouragement from the community, I probably would not have continued this show. But
I probably never would have watched Stranger Things.
Oh, Stranger Things is so good. I would have continued that one.
My people told me to watch Stranger Things.
Because you were sleeping on TV. Because you had only watched The Walking Dead, right?
Because I don't watch TV.
That's crazy. There's so much good TV.
So, yeah, my people, they be giving me good shit to watch. So, we really in the first episode got introduced to every last character off rip. So, who was you fucking with and who wasn't you fucking with off rip? Because obviously we know a lot more in season 5, people's motives and backgrounds. Like, season 1, first introduction, how was you feeling?
Okay, well, everybody in my comments was like blown away because I said when we had the deserter from the wall, I didn't understand the rules. So I'm like, he saw some shit. He's running. He's trying to kind of explain what he saw. And Ned Stark, you know, put him on that little rock and cut his head off. So my first reaction to that was, I said, the Starks ain't shit. So, you know, everybody was like, oh, he said the Starks ain't shit. All right, let's see how his journey gonna go. Because they said they ain't never heard nobody say nothing like that. But I did like Arya. She was the first character I think I latched onto. Because Bran had that little training sequence where he was trying to shoot a bow. And John and Rob was helping him. And Arya was in the background. She shot the bullseye. So I'm like, okay, I can fuck with her. You know, I like, you know, characters that stand out. So she was probably the first character I latched onto. I don't think in that episode I latched on to anybody else.
Off rip, Arya, that's my girl. I've been saying that the whole time. Arya, that's my girl. Off rip.
He's goated.
I don't remember at one point I really started fucking with Tyrion, but I always knew it was something different about him.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fucking with Arya, Tyrion, and Daenerys. Them still like really my solid 3. Even still, in me being in season 5 right now, and I need to watch the last few episodes. Them 3, I'm solid on them. I like other characters, but as far as I like Jon Snow too.
Yep, Jon, Arya, Tyrion, Daenerys, Ned, Robert. Those was my top favorites for.
You like Robert?
Yes, I love Robert. He was hilarious.
The King Robert.
King Robert.
Fat man.
Yes, Fat Man.
That's so funny.
I love Robert, and of course it's Game of Thrones, so they gonna take my favorite characters, of course.
Robert got on my nerve. I'm like, sir, why are you always drunk all the time?
That's probably why I liked him, because I'm always drinking. I always got a drink, so
cheating on his damn wife. But then, I don't think it counts when you're royalty. I really don't think cheating counts. So, who wasn't you fucking with off rip? Well, you was like, oh no, they need to die right now.
Well, when I got to the end of the episode, it was Jaime and Cersei, because they threw Bran off the castle. I'm like, there was no need for that. I mean, y'all doing something y'all not supposed to. That's a little boy. He don't even know what he's seeing right now.
And they not even at home.
You could have. Right. So, like,
they're
you
in
traveled
Winterfell.
a month all the way here and then murdered their son. Like, or tried to murder their son. I'm like, oh, hell no. So that was those two off rip I wasn't fucking with.
Same. Like, you mean to tell me y'all couldn't fuck for y'all left the house? Fuck in the woods on the way here? No, y'all wait till y'all get to somebody else's house and fuck. The disrespect.
I had to think of it because I just rewatched the episode not too long ago. It took them 30 days from King's Landing to Winterfell. So that is probably why they couldn't wait, because it had been so long. And, they can't, but, Cersei was probably sleeping with Robert every night in their little thing. So he was fiending for some Cersei action. So
that's think probably why. That got to be why they called the North the Frozen Wasteland. I didn't know it was a month. Even still, like at this point, it is so hard for me to grasp the location of everything in Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon is way easier, but let me be quiet because I ain't talking about House of the Dragon today. But it's hard.
Yeah, it is. And if it wasn't for the comments, I wouldn't quite grasp it. Because I didn't even know Daenerys was in a completely different area. They had to tell me Westeros and Essos. Yeah. So I couldn't grasp that either. Plus, when you're watching for the first time, like, and I'd be having to explain this to people in the comments, like, I'm not going to get everything. Like, there's so much being thrown at me. I hear it, but sometimes I can't process everything. And then the fact that this show started us off in the middle of their story, like, some shit done already happened. Like, Jon Arryn and stuff was murdered. Like, I'm not catching that because I don't know what's going on. I didn't even know what the hell a Hand of the King was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never really watched medieval shit with kings and queens, and so I don't know their terminology. So I'm so confused. I'm trying to learn names first of all. Like, then I gotta know where I'm at.
So confusing.
Right. Like, so everybody be like, trying to tell me, oh, you need to pay attention. You need to do that. Okay, I'm paying attention. I hear what they're saying. I'm reading the subtitle, but I'm not kind of grasping it. Like, but the show I think does a good job reiterating things. What you say?
You be having the subtitles on?
I have to, because like when I'm talking, like I look at the TV so I can read what I'm not hearing because I'm talking over it.
I probably should do that. Because I know you've seen me at some point. I'll be like, wait, what the fuck they just say? And then I got to rewind it.
Or I try not to do that because when I edit, it's just a pain for me.
Oh, I know.
So, because I have to do every step I have to like hand edit. Like, it's not like some of y'all do it like on y'all computers. I watch it on my TV. So any little cut I make, I have to like move it physically on my computer. So I try to avoid pausing, rewinding. I have done it a few times, but I try to avoid that.
How did you feel about Viserys?
I hated him. I forgot about him. Yeah, he was in that episode. I don't think I fucked with him either because, first of all, he stripped his sister. I'm like, so I'm already like, this is weird. And then he did have that line where he was like, I let the whole Dothraki horde and all their men fuck you and their horses and all this other shit. I'm like, you don't give a fuck about your sister? Like, I love my siblings to death. I would never fix my lips to say nothing cruel like that. I'm like, these people is wild. Like, I'm like, and I try to start from a position where I listen to all the characters and try to understand them, but that's an immediate turn off. Like, I already know fuck.
It's immediate. Like, I'm not trying to hear shit you're talking about. Like, I hear you, but like, I don't care.
Yeah, so it's like, okay. I don't care about your reasoning. I don't care about none of that. You're on my shit list.
What I learned from the very first episode of Game of Thrones and just the entire first season, just period, they set the tone and plot armor do not exist. They will kill you. They don't give a fuck. I don't think I've ever watched a more violent show than Game of Thrones.
No, me either. And I had to learn that the hard way through Ned's death, that the plot armor doesn't exist. Yeah, I know we jumped ahead, but I was waiting for somebody to save him. I just knew. And then that sword swung down. I was like, I'm in shock.
For me, it's hard to watch Game of Thrones because I'm not a violent person. So watching Game of Thrones, like, whenever I'm like, oh, I want to sit down and relax, I'm not watching violent shit. That's just not. I want to either I'm trying to cry or laugh. I want a romance or I want to watch a comedy. That's like, I'm not like, I don't really watch shit like this. So Game of Thrones has been really hard for me to watch. I'm talking about it off rip the show. It be the rape. I'm talking about they take babies off the titty and murder them. I'm talking about babies.
Yes, yeah.
And not even walking, infants. They will kill anybody. They will rape anybody. I'll be like, Jesus Christ. Anybody that can binge Game of Thrones, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Anybody that has sat and binged the entire show of Game of Thrones, you're sick. Like I can't do it.
You need mental breaks. And I think people are just now learning me because some people are just now finding me through these reactions. But they be like, you have I have like strong opinions. I have strong feelings toward the characters.
We hate everybody and love everybody. It ain't no in between. I don't care I don't have no in between.
That's exactly what they say about me. They're like, you have no in between. You have good and bad. Like justice, or what they say. They said
very black and white.
Justice or evil, or good or evil, whatever. So I was like, that's just how I am. That's how I watch TV. But at the same time, like you said, I don't watch violent shit like this all the time. Where it's kind of like you're rooting for the lesser evil in a sense, because ain't nobody perfect. They all do fucked up shit. But some stuff is just a bit too extreme, too unforgiving, and yeah. So
that's why Ned is dead now, trying to protect Joffrey, bitch ass, and look what Joffrey had done to him.
Exactly. I was so sick it never came out in public that he was a bastard. I was sick.
Because it was already suspected. Like, there's whispers, people talk. And her and Jamie are twins. So, like, but it's, them two is like this and they need to quit. Them two. But he really spared that one boy life and started a whole war just by sparing that one boy life. When it happened, I was literally screaming. Like, they never would have did the same for you. Like, why is you trying to spare this boy feelings? Like, I never knew what Game of Thrones was about. I always say I just assumed it was a bunch of white people running around with swords. And clearly I was right, because that's what happens in every episode. But I didn't know anything about Game of Thrones. Nothing. I don't think I ever even heard winter is coming before I start watching this show. And I swear, I'll be watching a random YouTube video somewhere and somebody will say winter is coming. And I'll be like, can y'all leave me alone? So
I never even used to hear that.
See?
I used to really didn't pay this show any attention. Like, if it says something Game of Thrones, I'm scrolling. Like, I knew when he saved
about
Joffrey. Dragons.
I didn't even know that. I knew when he saved Joffrey, it was going to be hell to pay. I said, oh, this ain't right. I knew this wasn't going to be right.
Joffrey was the worst for me.
Yeah.
For that season, he was the worst for me. From just the second episode when he was about to murder that little boy. Like, Arya's minding her business with her friend. and he coming over there fucking they shit up. Like, and then Arya put him in his place, and he mad and want to have everybody killed. Like,
That
what are you
happened in
doing,
season
sir?
1 too.
That was the second episode.
Oh my god!
Remember,
Wait,
because he swung at Arya and almost tried to kill her, and Sansa in the background doing nothing, screaming and hollering. So Arya had to put him in his place, and he got mad and snitched. The other poor little boy ran, and then the hound slaughtered him. They had him hunted down, and I forget what was his name. He was the butcher's boy. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, they had the little.
Wait, so that was in the King's Road, because the first episode was Winter is Coming, and the second episode was the King's Road.
They were on the King's Road. Yep. And they had the little. I don't know. I guess
He wanted her dire wolf killed because the wolf stepped in and was like, "Hey, leave him alone."
I forgot about that. Yeah, so Nymeria is still out there. So because she had to release Nymeria to save its life, because didn't it bite Joffrey?
It bit him. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
He or she.
Nymeria
I think. They were supposed to behead her dire wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love those dire wolves.
And they did kill Sansa's. I love the dire wolves too. I was pissed when they killed Lady. I was pissed because I still wasn't accustomed to the violence. So every little ignorance and like violent acts just triggered me. Like I would get mad. So everybody's like, you in for a ride. So that was another reason I think people attached to me, because they wanted to see me get desensitized, because I was so sensitive to every little thing that was happening.
And I'm still not desensitized. That's why I had to quit for 2 months. I'm tired. And then Walking Dead was on, so I was like, fuck Game of Thrones.
Like I'm a bit desensitized, but there's still extremes that are gonna bother me no matter what. Like,
I'm just not surprised anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but I still get pissed off.
At every point, I'm to the point now where I'm ready for anybody to die. Like, I'm ready for anybody to die at any moment. Now, how did Jon Snow get sent to the wall in the first place?
He wanted to go.
Oh, okay, because he felt like he ain't had shit else to do, because, well, we know how they treat bastards. They name them all.
That was exactly why. It was because of how they treated him. Like, even when the King Robert and Cersei and them came to Winterfell, they told Jon he couldn't be around them because he's a bastard and he's an insult to them. So basically, why everybody else is at the dinner. Yeah, that's when he first met Tyrion in the barn. And they had, I only know because I just watched the first episode again. But yeah, so his Uncle Benjen came into Winterfell, and he asked his Uncle Benjen if he could come with him to the wall. And Uncle Benjen's like, you don't want to do that. You can't have no kids, no wife. He said, I don't care about none of that. He just wanted to get out of it.
He was a virgin anyway, so he was like, I'm not missing. You can't miss what you ain't never had. So
exactly. So that was how he got sent there. Well,
okay.
He got volunteered to go there.
So I'm trying to keep. Oh, we got to talk about Kat. I don't like her. Never liked Kat. I hate women like this. How you mad at the child? Your husband brought home a child and you don't like the child and you mad at the child. When they revealed it, that she was praying that Jon Snow died and he had got real sick. When he was little, he had got real sick, like he almost died. I said, this bitch. I didn't
judge her too harshly for.
And she wasn't never at home with her kids.
No, yeah, I didn't judge her too harshly on that, because it's the same for everybody else. Like, the way she treated him is the same way they treat the bastards in general, anyway. But it was, as a mother, I don't know how you could treat somebody's child like that. But they do that to anybody, so it was like, it is.
But
what it
all
is.
day you and your husband.
Constant reminder. Huh?
No, but all day you and your husband face my man. Bitch, why you like, girl? So she act like he ain't never did nothing wrong. Like, that is her man. She was being a proper wife. I'm talking about, she loved her man. She respected her man, honored her man. Ned Stark could do no wrong in her eyes. That's just the way I took it. But I do not like the way that she treated Jon Snow. Because what you're not finna do is get mad at the child when your husband brought home a whole ass child from war. How long was he at war? Him and Robert.
It was a couple years, I think they said.
Yeah, I just knew it was a couple of years. I didn't know how many years it was.
Because it was a couple years. Because I know it was at least a year because obviously John was created, conceived over the 9 months, born, and then they carried him back. So it was at least a minimum of a year. But I think it was like 2 or 3 years because they got to go around all the kingdoms. They got to get their allies, and then the fight, the sacking, and then it's already 30 days to Winterfell. So it was wild. It was wild.
That man lived a whole life.
But I understand that because like Ned Stark was almost the perfect character, other than the fact that he just cheated and had a baby. And
he was a pretty
that
stand-up
was
guy.
like
I like Ned.
Yeah,
I like
love
Ned.
Ned.
I fuck with
That
him.
was why she was so upset about her her husband, because it's like you cheated on me after we were supposed to be honorable people. I think that was why they really did fall in love, because they were too honorable. So that was his dishonorable act, and every time she looked at Jon, that was a constant reminder. I don't agree with it. I hate it because I love Jon as a character, but yeah, that was the only thing about Kat I really didn't like. What I did like about her was she was smart. I think she was smarter than most characters. She knows who she's dealing with. She knows how to talk to him. She knows who should talk to him, who shouldn't talk to him. And she's a good strategist. And people don't listen to her enough. I think, well, obviously because she's a woman, they don't respect women enough in that show. But she was underrated, I feel like.
I wish she would have spent more time with her kids. She was always out and about, running, doing something. I'm like, girl.
I think that first episode was the only time we seen the whole Stark family together. That was it.
Yes, because Ned left and he never came back.
Yep.
He was trying to go back home, but didn't Robert keep asking him to stay?
Well, Robert went there initially to ask Ned to be the hand of the king. So when Ned left, that was permanent. So at that point, Rob was in charge because he was the next oldest.
And he never made it back home.
And Kat kept trying to talk Ned out of it. She kept saying, you can tell him no. And plus, it was alarming because, well, the last hen was just murdered, and now you about to take the place. So obviously somebody's trying to kill the king. So you're going to be one of the next targets. So she didn't want him to die. And then at the same time, her family's being split up because Sansa was going to go off to marry Joffrey. And then he brought Arya along for whatever reason. So she was just left with her boys. Oh, and Jon was going because he was going off to the wall. So she was just left with Bran and Rob.
Now, with King Robert's death, it was not a murder, but I feel like it was some conspiring against his death because obviously Cersei wanted him dead. She fucking hated that man's guts. And she always tried to have as little contact with that man as possible. Like, she's so cold. I mean, I guess it's not hard when somebody's plastered every day, but she made sure she never got pregnant by that man. Ever. But he had kids on the side by them hoes. So, clearly he had kids. But he never had a child with Cersei, ever.
And the thing about that is, she liked him at first. She was in love with him, but he was too in love with Ned's sister, Lyanna. So
yeah, when Ned's sister got killed, he ain't been right ever since.
Never. And that was one of the scenes in the first episode. When he first got to Winterfell, he wanted to go see her grave. That was the first thing he said to Ned. He said, let's go pay respects to his dad. And Cersei was like, not right now. Like she already knew. She was pissed off. And so, yeah, ever since then, she wasn't seeing eye to eye. Because she said one night they slept together, and he was drunk and called her Lyanna. And she said, I just didn't fuck with him ever since that.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, he did do her dirty. He did. And I don't like Cersei at all, but that was dirty. I can understand why she felt some type of way. About that. And I would understand cheating at that point, but it's with your brother, so I can't. I don't accept that.
If she never had to get married, she literally never would have had nobody other than her brother, because he ain't never been with nobody other than his sister.
Exactly, and that's why he joined the Kingsguard or whatever, because he doesn't want to. So they found a little loophole. He can be right by her side and don't have to take no wife or no children. They knew what they was doing.
And Robert always out drunk. Now wait, with Robert's death, how did you feel about that? Cause they didn't kill him, but I think they let him die. It was some conspiring there. Because I don't remember exactly what Cersei said, but I remember she was talking because he was out there hunting and he was drunk as fuck. And was it like an accident and he got bit by a boar or some shit?
Yeah, he was fighting a boar. Hey. I'm sorry, she tried to eat off my plate. And she the sickest dog I know. She gets sick off anything.
Oh, no, I say that.
So I guess I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I guess there's a small detail that we missed, and I only just found this out. I guess it's okay since it was already kind of revealed. There was a conversation between Cersei and Lancel. I don't know what season. And
Her cousin she was fucking?
yes. And he said something along the lines of, you know, she was feeling guilty about some of the stuff they did, and one of the things he mentioned was Robert. So apparently, it was inferred that Cersei had Lancel over drunken Robert, so that when he went to fight the boar,
because he was
would
gonna
die.
drink anyway. I think she was telling him to just make sure that he always have liquor for him.
Right. Exactly. And they got him over drunk, and it ended up happening exactly the way she wanted it to. So it was a plot. It was a ploy. And I didn't catch that until my comments told me recently.
Okay. Because I remember that. Yeah. Okay, because they didn't show it, so that's what I thought happened. Okay.
Because at first I thought he died off screen, so I was about to start snapping because I liked that character, and I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like, they definitely murdered him, and then they showed his death. And he said, I got bit by a boar. I was like, or whatever, cut by a boar.
Yeah, it came out of his mouth. He said
it was serious.
He was out there drunk as fuck, and it was a hunting accident. That was a real Robert way to die, and he don't even know that.
I was pissed.
He don't even know
so
that it was
mad.
catering him, hoping he'd die.
I was so mad for so many reasons. So many reasons. Because one, that was the episode Ned revealed to Cersei that I know your children are bastards.
And no. And that's what pissed me off too. Ned, why are you showing her your cards?
I know. Because he's honorable. He was going to tell Robert he wanted her to leave so that they didn't die. Because
and you know she would never have that same grace for you.
Because I rewatched that scene too when I was making our comps. And Cersei, when they got into the room, Cersei was scared because she didn't want Ned to tell Robert. Because he was dying, but he wasn't dead yet. He could still give orders. So she was kind of like looking at Ned like, I know. And then Robert told Cersei to leave, and then she got scared. You can see it on her face because she thought Ned was going to say it. And I'm so pissed off that he didn't, because that would have saved his life.
And then gonna have the nerve to have him sign some piece of bullshit ass paper that was saying like who should be in charge. None of that shit count after he did. And it blew me that he gave it to Cersei. I was like, she gonna rip it up, and the bitch ripped it up. I was so mad.
She don't care about that. She do not care about no papers, none of that. She think her shit don't stink, and she was gonna do what she wanted to do. They gave her too much leeway. Ned's, I'm gonna call it mercy on Cersei is what got him killed. Yeah. So
I'll tell you one thing. I knew Joffrey was. I knew his uncle was his daddy because I called him Uncle Daddy. I knew Jamie was his Uncle Daddy. I'm not gonna play with you. You're gonna make me spit my food out. I knew Jamie was his Uncle Daddy for a fact. Like, remember when Ned was going through their big ass history book? And he was looking at all the Baratheons, and it was like jet black hair, jet black hair, black hair, black hair. And then the Lannisters, it was like blonde hair, blonde hair, blonde hair. Ned was like,
the math ain't mathing.
I said, oh yeah.
That was when I first got it. I was like, that was your power play. But I mean, so many things went wrong there. Like, because that episode was a lot. That was a big one. Like, you got to break that down. So it's like, not only did he show mercy to Cersei in that scene by not telling Robert, he didn't want Cersei to die. That was his whole thing, right? So he went about it a different way. He went to Littlefinger and had Littlefinger rally the,
What is it with people trying to save Cersei? Like, please let this bitch die.
I don't understand. Maybe because he thinks she's innocent. You know what I mean? Like, hasn't done heinous things, but he ain't really been around to know what she's been doing. But yeah, so he went to Littlefinger and got the city's watch on his side. So
I was about to bring up Littlefinger. I was about to ask you, how do you feel about Littlefinger? And you done brought him up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get to him. And yeah, so they had the scene. They ripped the paper up, and then Ned thought he was going to arrest her, and there was about to be a little fight. Nah, he turned on Ned. So that was the first time I knew Littlefinger wasn't shit, and he is not to be trusted. And to be fair, he said not to trust him. So, but I guess I wasn't seeing the bigger picture yet with Littlefinger, because he's a bigger player than we knew at the time. Like, I'm thinking he just running his brothel or whatever. He getting his money. He chilling. Nah, this was all a power play.
10 steps ahead.
I'm in a spot where he's an interesting enough character to where I don't hate him. I really do enjoy watching the scenes because he's always up to something. I like smart characters as well. So I'm intrigued by him. I don't like him, you know what I mean? But I don't hate him. I'm annoyed by the stuff he started. I really am. Like, and I know none of them really saw the death of Ned Stark coming, because that was something nobody wanted.
Nobody saw that shit. Even Cersei was like, Joffrey, what the fuck are you doing? Because she didn't want to start a war.
No, she didn't. Like, Joffrey didn't even understand.
Genuinely, nobody wants a war other than Joffrey. Like, because it's too much time, it's too much energy, it's too much resources. You already got to look over your shoulder in everyday life. Like, nobody wanted a war. Nobody wanted a war but Joffrey.
And really, it made the game harder because now everybody's declaring themselves king. So it's like king in the north. You got Renly over there trying to be king. Stannis wants to, his rightful throne. So
my God, do not get me started on Stannis. When was that, season 2? Hold on, was that?
Wasn't he in season 1?
No, what he did to piss me off might have been in season 2 because Ned got killed in 1-9.
Mm-hmm.
So that shit with Stannis couldn't have been until season 2 at least.
The Battle of Blackwater was season 2.
Okay.
I don't remember what much it was.
The shit he did before that. We're going to talk about it. Now with Baelish, I hate him, but I love what he adds to the show. I love what he brings to the show. I can't stand that man. I like Varys more than Baelish.
I was just about to get there. Yes, I love
because Varys and Baelish are birds of a feather, but Varys care about people more. Like Baelish he don't give a fuck about nobody.
Everybody's a pawn, and
everybody,
and him and Varys, they got spies. They're two different spy networks, so they be going at it. I love their conversations, like their dialogue.
I love when they talk because they know both of them full of shit.
Exactly, their conversations are the best. So. But yeah, I'm more on Varys' side, and how he goes through things. But I think it's really because Varys been through a lot. Like, he'd been through some shit, so it kind of humbled him. Not that he was ever an erratic person, as far as I know.
This is Varys.
Huh?
This is Varys.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for you to Varys walk around like this all damn day in that big heavy-ass robe. I know that motherfucker heavy, but he looked warm.
And Varys is well respected. They call him Lord, and he ain't even a Lord.
They fuck him.
Yeah, I do too. Because I mean, that's what I just don't understand about some of these characters in the show. Like, why treat people like shit? Like, there's no reason for it. Like,
the difference between Varys and Baelish, Varys will stand up there in the court and be like, "Yes, I'm with the king." And then on the side, go rescue you out the damn jail cell. So, like that's why I fuck with Varys. Littlefinger is not finna do that for nobody.
Nope.
He'll just be like, damn, I fucked with you, but woo.
Yeah, like I said, everybody's a pawn. And
your screen went black. Oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm. My phone died. It was, I just charged it. But yeah, so Littlefinger and Varys, you just got to watch them too, because Varys, I think it was revealed in season 1 that he's also, he has his eye on the throne, but his moves are not very clear. They both want the throne, but they're taking two different paths to get to it, and it's like trying to figure that out.
I don't think Varys want to be king. I think Varys wants to stay high ranking and do all his little bullshit on the side. I think Baelish want to be king real bad.
Oh,
I think Baelish want to be king.
I only say that about Varys because I watched, I'm getting way ahead, but it was season 4. He had a conversation with Oberyn, And he blah blah blah. They got to the conversation. He was like, "Well, what are you interested in, Varys?" He's like, "Since I have free time, I have other things I'd like to explore." And then he looked at the throne and just left it at that. So that's why I think
I forgot about
he's
that.
plotting.
Mm.
Yeah. So, but it's like he's not actively making any moves. You know what I mean? And he's definitely not the type to, screw anybody over to
He
get
likes
it.
to be
So
the
it's
puppet
like, what is
master,
his plan?
not the puppet. He likes to be the puppet master.
He stays
instead
on
of the puppet.
everybody's good side, pretty much. So, and my other thing is too. All right, say everything works out for Littlefinger or Varys. They don't have a blood claim to the throne. So, like,
At all.
say the whole
They're not even
Lannister-
from there.
Right. So it's like, so say the king and all his bloodline is completely wiped out and Littlefinger go to sit on the throne. Like, how does that work? Like, can he just do that? Because I'm like, well, if anybody can do that, well, I would just come slit your throat and then sit on the throne myself. So it's like, you kind of have to have a support system that's going to back you.
Don't they still vote? I know, like, if you, like, win the war, ain't no fucking voting. But, like, remember, you know how they usually do the voting process? He could never even, like, whenever they do a voting thing.
Vote?
Well, you don't learn that. Oh, see, you ain't watch House of Dragon. Never mind. You ain't watch House of the Dragon. Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, I ain't never seen nobody vote on nothing.
Well, we know the Targaryens built all that shit, and that's how they did things. But it would be amongst the Targaryens, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, they used to vote, and you have to state your claim, and then they would pick.
Okay, so there was some diplomacy. See, we've only ever seen chaos, so I ain't seen no diplomacy.
A pure shit show.
Yeah, because everybody here just claims what they think is theirs. It's no negotiating. It's no talking.
They got
basically
the
you
throne
fight
from-
for what.
I always forget. I literally forget this every time. They got the throne either from Daenerys, like her daddy or granddaddy or her uncle or great uncle is one of them men, the Mad King. That was Daenerys, either daddy, granddaddy, uncle, or great uncle. He was one of them to Daenerys. That's how Robert got the.
Probably all of them, because they all.
I think.
It's all an incest family. So he a dunkle and a, I don't know, he everything.
Yeah.
Granddaddy, dunkle.
And Jamie the one that killed him. That's why they always call him the Kingslayer. Jamie the one killed him.
Right.
And Jamie told the story
because
many
he
times.
told him to kill Tywin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie told the story many times.
And that's why there was so much to unpack in this first season, because it's like, y'all put me in the middle of this story, throwing these titles at me, Kingslayer and all this. Okay, that one's self-defining, but like, I had to learn what a hand is and why people are lords, and I had to figure out this
people
hierarchy
all over the fucking country.
Yeah, it was confusing, and then you got all these kingdoms, and then the sigils, and I'm like trying to remember all this, and then you got maesters, which I took forever to figure out what that is. It was a lot. You got Bannerman and all this different stuff, and it was just like so much thrown at me. Like, it literally took me several seasons and a bit of rewatching through my editing to finally figure out what is going on. And I still didn't even, I know it was called Game of Thrones, but I really didn't see how much of a game it was, because I was still just trying to learn the world, the characters. You know what I mean? So this show has rewatch values in the sense that I can watch it again and see how they're playing the game. Yeah.
So how did you feel about Daenerys being married to, what the fuck is his name? I know his name.
Khal Drogo.
Yeah, Drogo. How did you feel about Daenerys? I felt so bad for her until she finally started to warm up to him, because like it was so hard for me to watch.
It was hard to watch because, first of all, they're savage. Like, that beach scene is scarred in my mind. They was getting buck wild on the beach. Somebody came up, threw somebody to the ground, took their woman, got buck wild, and then they just start fighting till 1-1, and he cut his ponytail off. And Drogo just sitting there like, yep. The man like, it ain't a real party unless 3-4 people die. I'm like, what?
Man, them
so
motherfuckers.
Like, these are savage folks.
Boy, them Dothraki people. Ooh, they ain't nothing to play with. Them, Jesus Christ. Them Dothraki
I felt so bad for Dany. I really did. Like you said, I wasn't comfortable until she was comfortable with it. Like, and she actually did so well, but and then that was a whole nother thing. Yeah.
I don't even remember
what
episode was that he died in?
You want to talk about that section?
No, wait. What episode did he die in? Was that
he had
season
a
1?
slow death. Yeah, he died in season 1. It was a slow death. I think it started in 8 or 9. Because remember that person challenged Drogo. Because I don't
He
think they
didn't
liked
clean himself
Daenerys.
up
Remember,
after he had got stabbed and he got an infection, and that was how he died.
it was more than that. Remember when they sacked one of them villages and they was killing and raping all the girls, and Daenerys was like stopping them, and that was why they didn't fuck with Daenerys, and they got mad and challenged her.
And she
Or
was not with the
challenged
shits
Drogo.
at all.
No, and that I respected that about her. So she stopped that, saved the women, which was an insult to them. And the woman wanted revenge. So remember, Daenerys asked her to help Drogo, and then she did some magic voodoo witchery shit and fucked Drogo up, and then killed her baby. Which, oh my god, that was just
Oh my God, that was so depressing. And especially before that, we had such a good moment with a golden crown. Obviously, that was great.
yes.
So
Oh, yeah.
to go from a golden crown to now Daenerys grieving her husband and her unborn child, that was fucked up. That was fucked up. Cause she really did love
Very
that
fucked
man.
up.
She was hurt.
And then you gotta think she didn't have nobody. Her brother's dead.
Nobody.
Her lover's dead. She barely had any loyalty because most of the Dothraki didn't mess with her. So it's like, what happens next? You know? Well, she had Jorah. Jorah was following them, right?
Where'd she get that? Along the way, where did she pick up the curly hair girl, the curly hair light skinned girl? Where did she pick her up from? It had to be the
Which
Dothraki
one?
people, right? The curly hair girl that be
The
wearing the blue dress, the light skinned girl.
oh, that ain't until season 3. That's what's her name? Millis something.
I don't remember where
Missandei?
okay. I thought she was with her the whole
She
time.
got them from the Unsullied. Remember when she bought all the Unsullied?
I know the Unsullied, but the
And
girl came with the Unsullied.
Yeah, she was the spokesperson for the slave
Okay.
master, and Daenerys said, "Let me buy her too."
Oh yeah.
So she don't come until way later. Dany didn't really have nobody back then. She had like 2 girls, but they later on turned out to be one of them turned out to be a snake. So yeah, but that's in season 2. But yeah, Dany had a lot going on. I felt so bad for her, like. And she didn't really. She was a lot like us in the sense that she's still trying to navigate and understand this world. Like, all she kept saying was, "I want to go home." Like,
and
that's
she
all
got to
she
be
wanted.
like
She didn't really have a home.
At this point, she got to be like late teens, early 20s, like literally a young lady.
Right.
Wait,
And then the person you look up to, your brother, he don't even give a fuck about you. Like,
and he
told you that to your face.
She was relieved when he died. I don't think she was necessarily happy because she did love her brother, but she was like, "Ooh, I ain't got to worry about that motherfucker no more."
Right, he was overstepping way too much, and she was comfortable at that point when he was overstepping. She was just building her confidence, and so he messed with her at the wrong time, and then he tried to threaten Drogo, and there was really no saving him from that. So it was like, yeah, do what you got to do.
Wasn't he drunk?
Yep, he was drunk.
He had a little bit of courage, yeah.
He was pissed because Dror threatened him because was it Dror? Somebody gave Dany the dragon eggs. As a gift.
But that was her wedding gift. Yeah, and he wanted one.
And he tried to sell him because he realized Khal Drogo's not going to answer to him. He's not, you know what I mean? He started to realize he can't use the Dothraki to fight because they're not going to follow his commands. So then he was like, well, I'll just go off and buy an army with these dragons.
Which that was his plan the whole time, to use the Dothraki army so he could play the Game of Thrones.
Like. Yep, Dror threatened him, and then he got super drunk because he got pissed because, he can't beat nobody. And yeah, so he got drunk, and then he just got, belligerent. And Dany tried to stop him. She tried to save him. But he was acting
and then
up.
He thought he could get away with it because they're not supposed to spill blood inside their tents. That's like one of the only rules that they follow, and that's why he poured that hot ass whatever. He melted down the crown.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's one of my all-time favorite death sequences. Is Daenerys' brother Varys Targaryen. That felt so good. Now my thing is why he ain't never get married? Is it because Daenerys is a girl and she could have Targaryen babies and he's a boy? I don't know. But then, it go both ways.
I think he was saving marriage for when he took the throne. I think, because when you take the throne, you take a queen. So I think he wanted to pick. I think he wanted to have a choice for himself, but he didn't give
Okay.
Daenerys a choice. So
Okay, because I never understood that. I was like, you want to be king so bad. Like, I know you want your sister to get married that way because it's easy to sell off a woman. It's hard to sell off a nigga. It's hard. Especially Daenerys being so pretty and she a Targaryen.
right, and he didn't want to marry nobody in Essos anyway. So he only married her off so he can get an army. But really,
And they savage too, boy. If they would have listened to
Right.
him,
he would have wanted to wait till he took the throne and marry somebody in one of the royal families so that he could unite,
he
start an
was the pick of the
alliance.
litter, the best for him. Okay.
Yeah, so that was why he did that. But he never even made it that far, nor did he deserve to.
Right. How did you feel about Sansa liking Joffrey all that time? I never liked him from the moment I saw his crooked face ass. I couldn't fucking stand him. I knew he wasn't no good.
Sansa frustrated me in the first season. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like her. I didn't even really start liking Sansa until I had to start feeling bad for her. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh my God, same.
I had to really. I guess I just didn't understand her in her naiveness. I guess
I was about to
upset
say
me.
she's literally naive. Like, she's not a bad person at all. She don't be scheming and plotting, none of that. Like, she is naive. We're gonna see that season 2. Let me be quiet. But she was just very naive. Everything was rainbows and sunshines, and Arya always knew this world was fucked up, and y'all gonna leave her alone.
And that was my thing. I'm like, Arya is such this great character. She gets it. She wants to be beyond, what everybody expects them to be. She didn't want to just be a princess and then
Somebody
a queen.
wife.
Like,
And have
she
kids.
wanted to fight. Like, I can almost compare her to, again, I'm getting ahead, but Brienne. Like, they wanted to be more than just what other people wanted them to be. And I think that's why I latched on Arya so quick. And then Sansa was the complete opposite. She was the girly girl. So,
Yeah.
didn't
And
have
Arya
no skills. Like,
Arya want to be outside, play in the dirt, travel.
yeah,
And
swing
shit,
the
that's all she
sword,
doing.
everything. Like, she was that character. I
Now-
love Arya.
The pointy end, was that the episode when Arya had to kill somebody? I mean, you would think I would have these notes together, but I really like just talking. I hate having structured podcasts.
That was the second episode. That was the first time, because John gave her, I think it was John, he gave
Needle.
her needle in the first episode, or the second, before they took off. One of the two. I think it's the second episode. Before they take off to the King's Road, he gives her needle, and somewhere along the way, when she was practicing with needle in the forest with the butcher's boy, and then she pulls it on Joffrey. That was that episode. But I don't think she actually killed anybody with the needle at that point. She just had threatened Joffrey.
Back with Sansa. In the second episode, you learned Joffrey wasn't shit when he was getting the butcher's boy killed and orchestrating a beheading of your direwolf. Like, you saw off rip that Joffrey wasn't shit, and you still was in his face and protected him. Like, it was. You're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, I couldn't stand Sansa because she was really, to me, she was more than naive. She was blind. Joffrey came over there bullying your sister and her friend unprovoked. Then orchestrated the beheading of your direwolf, and you protected him. Like, you been knew Joffrey wasn't shit. And I'm sure that this was not her first time knowing Joffrey wasn't shit. Because they had kind of, because like when I can't remember if she was talking about Joffrey before they went to King's Landing, but like they was already flirting a little bit too much off rip. Like, they probably had kind of grew up, and every time she went to King's Landing, she could probably kiki a little bit and like flirt with him or whatever. But you already knew Joffrey wasn't shit, and you still protected this man, and then he really shit in your scrambled eggs when he had your daddy killed in front of you and thought it was a party. So I was like, bitch, you dumb.
Somebody had to break it down for me. Sansa, in that situation, she was put in a bad position because she was supposed to be married off to Joffrey, so she couldn't betray him by, you know what I mean? But she also couldn't just condemn her sister. So she was like in that middle ground where she couldn't lie, but she couldn't tell the truth. What'd you say?
Mm-hmm.
So
I said, you knew he wasn't shit, and you still protected this man. And he still had your daddy killed. Like, you did all of that protecting for him to still have your daddy kids.
I think it's because she
She was just like her
Yeah.
daddy. She was just like her daddy, protecting
Yep,
Joffrey.
she wanted to be queen so bad. That was like her big dream. And she finally, she got the king, the future king, to fall in love with her. So that was almost everything she ever wanted. Though she didn't realize the cost it would, eventually be. But yeah, that Sansa frustrated me in the first season, but she had to learn. And I think throughout her journey, she really learned a lot. And if she could go back, she would definitely do things different.
Oh, of course. She would literally sneak him some poison.
Oh, yeah.
And leave that boy in the woods. Like, yeah. So, let's really get into Tyrion. I always kind of, like, it was weird because Tyrion energy been so different from jump. I kind of fuck with him, even though he always a drunken mess. I'm like, I fuck with him because he be talking that shit. He be cussing his whole family out.
Smacking them up, too.
All day, every day. First of all, I don't know what episode that was, but when he smacked the shit out of Joffrey, I want to say season 2.
See, he did it twice.
Because Joffrey was king.
1.
When he slapped the shit out of Joffrey, I said, "Oh, thank you, G, thank you." I mean, it was almost as if he restored balance to the universe. Like, sometimes, I always say that, sometimes people need you to put your hands on them. Like, that's, Joffrey understands violence. Like, he don't understand talking like you guys.
I've been said that they would have killed me in that universe because you're not finna talk to me crazy. I say this all the time. I'm like, how ain't nobody slapped the shit out this boy yet? Like,
when I tell you I am not made for that world,
I would have been killed, tortured, thrown in a dungeon, something. Like, I would never want to be royalty. I wouldn't want to be Poe, but I wouldn't want to be royalty because I can't deal with them. Like, I just can't.
I would be a farmer. Y'all just stay the fuck away from over here and fight and protect this land if y'all want to keep getting these vegetables.
See, the problem with that, though, is the wild folks in the forest that ain't got no houses. They come and just slaughter your shit.
But see, I wouldn't want to do nothing else. Now, see, you could just kill them.
Fight.
You ain't got to go to court. You kill them. When you live in a world like this, you can't afford to not know how to fight. Like, jumping ahead, we ain't gonna talk about this really, but the wildlings, when they ransacked that fucking little village and that little boy, he ended up at the wall because they killed his whole family. Like, just imagine, y'all, la-di-da-di-da, fishing, and a whole group of fucking wildlings come out of nowhere and slaughter all y'all.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, dang, like, you gotta kind of live in a city, like, in the kingdom's realm, so you have protection. But at the same time, I can't, I have to live with the Tyrells.
You still gotta know how to protect yourself. But at least they're not gonna call you to get dressed to go to war.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I don't want no part.
I don't want no part.
The rest of my kombucha.
There ain't no good place to be there. There just isn't. There's
zero. I don't want to live in this world, this universe, this time at all. But I want some more kombucha, but I'm not going downstairs to get any more out the refrigerator.
Yeah. I had to run upstairs to get my charger.
Yeah,
my phone was dying. That's why the screen kept going out. I was like, oh, Lord.
How did you feel when you found out Bran was, like, actually paralyzed and, like, wasn't gonna ever walk again? And then they tried to send somebody to kill him in his sleep, but thankfully they have dire wolves, so.
That just further intensified my hate. That was just the beginning of my growing hate for Cersei and Jaime, because it was like, that was fucked up. Like, that little...
And the knife, the Valyrian steel, I want to say, is what gave it away.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they were like, only highborns are going to have this, this type of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Kat was like...
Right. Kat was already suspicious from jump because, remember, she got that letter from her sister saying...
She always knew it was Cersei and them, but she couldn't quite confirm it for other people, but she knew in her heart...
And you can't accuse them because that's a crime in itself. So... You're stuck in a position of doing nothing.
Treason!
It was horrible. I was pissed off because he didn't deserve that. Like, I can't imagine being crippled in that world. And then the thing is, he wanted to be a knight. He wanted to be a fighter, so you took that from him. Like, I'm so grateful that he was training to be an archer and not a swordsman, because I was like, well, if he can learn to ride a horse, he can still shoot his bow and arrow. So I was like, he can still be a badass. He can still fight in some sense. But... I did feel bad for him. And then, of course, he didn't have his memories because he hit his head. So I was like, ain't that some bullshit?
Oh, my God. I forgot he forgot some stuff. You just really made me sad when you just said that. That hurt. That hurt. Because I don't give a fuck from 1 all the way to 5. Every time I see Bran, I be so hurt because he was a little boy at home climbing, doing shit he been doing. And it was crazy because his mama had just told him to stop climbing up that damn thing. And he went and did it anyway and got his ass pushed off. I feel so bad every time I see Bran because that is a little boy that just got his ability to walk taken away from him.
Whole childhood just robbed. It was horrible. I mean,
man, and how old was he? 8, 10?
Little.
Little.
Rickon's the youngest, and he talked pretty well, so he got to be at least 7, 8. So Bran got to be at least 10, 11. Arya's slightly older than him. Let's say 12.
Sansa was given 15, 16.
Sansa was only 13
given about 15
in the first season.
13? Damn! I forgot she was 13. I'm talking about 15. She just tall.
Yeah, so I would say Sansa's
That girl
13.
tall.
Arya got to be like 11. 10, 11. Bran got to be about 9. Rickon got to be, I guess, 7, 8.
Rickon was given 5 to me.
He
at
talked
first,
real good,
but I don't
though.
know. Some 5-year-olds talk real good.
We got to talk
But
about
yeah.
Rickon, though.
He don't get enough
But
screen time.
the fact that he foreshadowed Ned's death. In his
dream. Wasn't it a dream?
He has the sight,
Yeah,
I
it
guess.
was a dream.
So he can see things in the future.
Mhm.
And I can't remember what
Find out Bran
the
got that
warning
shit.
signs was, but he kept saying something like he was having dreams or something because they first seen him running in the graves. I can't remember the conversations he was having. But he kept, like, he was panicking a lot and, like, nobody was paying him no mind. And it was the whole time Ned's death was right in our face. Like, and that's the value, like, you get out of rewatching the
Facts.
show.
It was foreshadowed a lot.
Yeah, because, like, you don't
Yeah.
ever want to believe that
It was
stuff
foreshadowed a lot.
to be true. So it's like, okay, but
And
nobody
me
takes it
watching-
serious. Because you don't really take kids that serious when sometimes you really should. And that was a perfect example of that.
Me watching Game of Thrones, and I'm thinking Ned Stark was the main character, but I'm thinking I'm finna get to enjoy him for a long time. And honestly, truly, in season 1, episode 9, I learned, never mind, plot armor. That is not a thing. This worse than Walking Dead. Oh no.
The
Oh, no.
main character. Like, that's the Rick Grimes of the
character.
show. Like, you took out him.
And they did that purposely. Oh boy, you know what I eat? I be ready to go to bed. We only been on here 57 minutes and 19 seconds.
That's why I ate, like, what was you saying?
Okay, now, it wasn't revealed in season 1, but in season 1, when you saw that the news kept getting back to King's Landing about everything Daenerys was doing, how the fuck did you think that news was getting back to them? I thought Baelish and Varys just had the little birds out and they was getting all the tea. But I kept saying this during my reactions. I would be like, it would be certain things that Daenerys did or that happened to Daenerys. And I'm like, you literally had to be there to see that. Like, nobody is talking about this stuff. Like, so, but I never knew it was that man. I never knew it was. When I tell you, I was shocked when I found out that bitch was the rat. I'm talking about, I never saw that coming because I knew he really did love Daenerys, but obviously that was already his job before he started fucking with her. So I never knew it was him sending them notes back to King's Landing.
I don't remember at least how I reacted to that, or if I even did react to that. I don't know that I had a reaction to it. I was just like, oh, because I never really put much thought into it like you did. First of all, it still blows me that birds send messages. I just can't fathom that.
First of all, I was blue every fucking time they had a council meeting. They had a Daenerys update. I'm like, how are y'all getting this information?
I don't think I didn't put much thought into it. I think I just assumed Littlefinger or Varys. Because Varys, wasn't he always the one delivering the news most of the time?
It was, I feel like it was Varys most of the time because Varys was actually on the council. And it would be Littlefinger whenever somebody asked him to get some information.
So I think I just assumed it was one of Varys' spies. I don't think, like I said, even when it was revealed to be Jorah, I don't think I don't remember having much of a reaction. I would have to go back and look. Like, I tell everybody my reactions. I barely remember anything before the Red Wedding. Like, my mind is so messed up when it comes to this show. Like,
First of all, First of all, I'm trying to block out the red
Yeah,
wedding.
that's a conversation for another day. But I'm just saying, like, I have a hard time remembering anything. Like, I had to update myself on like some of the stuff that happened. I had to go back and look because it's like so much has happened, and then like when you learn something new in a future season, it changes how you look back at it. You know what I mean? Like our conversation, had we just finished season one and never seen nothing else, our conversations would be entirely different. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. And that's why I'm not doing a podcast for every episode of Game of Thrones, because it would literally never end. I'm like, just one per season. Wait, I wanted to ask you about Jaime, because remember, Jaime is the reason that they even got Ned. And I never remembered that until seasons later when Jaime finally got back home, missing a hand after everything happened to him. And Cersei was saying how mad she was at him and talking about how he was picking a fight with Ned Stark. And I was like, I forgot that was that bitch fault. But if you read, y'all, I literally just Googled Game of Thrones season 1 breakdown. This ain't no notes that I made. I'm on the Entertainment Weekly website. Now listen to this. Season 1, episode 5, The Wolf and the Lion. Plot. Catelyn takes Tyrion to the Eyrie where her sister Jon Arryn's widow Lysa resides. Lysa has become unhinged and still breastfeeds her pre-adolescent son. First of all, I forgot about her sister Lysa.
gross.
I'm pretty sure what I said in my reaction video was something around the lines of that grown ass man sucking on her titty or whatever said. Like, I mean, he's literally almost big as her.
It's
Like,
gross.
what was your reaction when she came into her sister's house and that's all
Like,
you see?
he don't eat nothing else. Like, that boy is huge.
Grown ass
like,
man.
He grew off milk. That's it. Like, he don't.
Young man.
Nasty.
Young man.
And then,
young man. That is not even a
like,
child.
yeah, and then like, I don't know. You can tell he's not mentally right either. Like, just in the way
He's slow.
the way he talks,
slow.
and all he want to do is throw people at the moon gate. I'm like, they are so messed up. Like, how you got your little boy?
That be his TV. That be his entertainment. Like, he be wanting somebody to go through that door so bad. She need to give him a hobby. Like, he don't got nothing to do but follow around his mama all day.
Yeah.
Now, the next part say, at King's Landing, Varys warns Ned that Robert's life is in jeopardy, believing Jon Arryn was poisoned. The king hears Jorah. Jon Arryn, that was the past king's hand, right?
Lysa's husband, the past king's hand. Yep.
Yeah. The king hears that Daenerys is pregnant and calls for her assassination. Ned refuses to have any part in it and gives up his position as hand. He plans to leave for Winterfell, but first visits a brothel on Littlefinger's suggestions where he finds another of Robert's illegitimate children. On leaving, Ned is surrounded by Jaime, angry that Catelyn has taken his brother prisoner and his men. Right. Catelyn was blowing the fuck out of me. I forgot she took Tyrion, and then Jaime went and got Ned because his wife had his brother.
Right.
So again, cat on my nerves. Why you not at home with your kids? Get out of man's business. I forgot about it.
But you got to give her some credit. Like, didn't she just get concrete proof that the Lannisters had something to do with Bran's incident, and she was trying to go to King's Landing to
But why would you do that while your man is at King's Landing? Let me take one of the royal family while my man is at their house.
I think she
make it make sense.
I think she wanted leverage when she got there, because like I said, once you make this accusation, it's a crime. They about to snatch you up. They ain't even gonna hear what you say.
But you only get this leverage. You can't have leverage if your husband at their house, bitch. Right. If your husband was at home and if all your kids was at home, okay. Oh my God! Don't even get me started on when she let Jaime go in later seasons. I was so mad at.
We're gonna have that talk in season 2.
Cat did nothing but get on my. All she did was get on my nerves the whole time she was alive.
Yeah, she did mess up with taking Tyrion, and then why did she go to Lysa's first? Remind me. Why did she go to Lysa's in the first place instead of straight to King's Landing? Oh, didn't she want Lysa to back her up or something? Like, didn't they want?
She took Tyrion to her sister's house because that was one place she knew where she'd be safe. She took Tyrion to her sister's house. That's why she
was wrong. Because I know she found out that they had something to do with Bran. She took Tyrion, but why did she go to Lysa's? I don't understand. I don't remember.
Because that's her sister's house. She knew she could get away with it.
But I mean, like, there had to be
she couldn't take him back to Israel.
Plan, like,
she ain't had no plan. She was making that shit up as she went. Because she kept getting little messages and little stuff along the way that kept pointing to Cersei and Jaime plotted Bran's demise.
Right. I think she wanted her sister to back her up, right? Because she wanted to go fight, right? She needed to show up with the army.
I think so.
I believe that's
because who else house could she have went to?
Right, and she had
everybody else is sworn to the land
to show that her husband was murdered and that they tried to murder her son. It's Lannister. She needed her army to come, but she said she wasn't going to do it. Right? She said, "No, I'm not going to fight."
Yeah, her sister was like, "You could hide here, but we ain't fighting."
Yeah, and then she took basically Tyrion from her, and then he had to do the whole trial by combat shit, and that's how he met Bronn, an amazing character.
Yes. So, I love Bronn. Bronn be having me weak.
He is hilarious.
He ain't a good person, but he get away with it because he's pretty fair. I fuck with Bronn. The Hound is worse than Bronn.
Oh yeah, I don't even compare them. Bronn is a sellsword. At least he has a moral code. The Hound just be doing shit to do shit. Like he was one of the Kingsguard. Then he goes on to quit, and then he just does what the fuck he wants to do. I'm like, I don't know. He ain't got no morals. You know what I mean? Like the Hound. Some ain't never really been right between him and his brother. We already know his brother's messed up from what he did to the Hound as a kid, burning his face because he caught him playing with his toy. Like, there's always been something wrong with that family.
Yes. We can't, first of all, we can't not talk about Daenerys eating a horse's heart. Gagging.
Why'd you remind me of that?
Gag because I just read it in this thing. Where did it? A Golden Crown in episode 6 we were talking about. Ned wants Jaime brought to justice for butchering his men, but Robert won't act against his source of wealth. Because, the Lannisters got all the money, which really they in debt, we found out later. Ned is reinstated as Hand, because Robert wanted him to be. I remember that. And summons the Lannister patriarch Tywin to court, that's granddaddy, to court to answer for attacking in Riverlands. Bran is set upon by wildlings in the woods, but saved by his older brother Robb. Oh my God.
Right, that was when we first met Asha.
Theon hadn't betrayed us at this point.
Nope. Yeah, okay, that's when we first met.
Tyrion
Asha.
Demands a trial by combat.
And they kidnapped. Asha was the only survivor.
So, and I like her.
Yeah, I like her too.
I like her. So when did we meet the Hound? Didn't he want to kill the butcher's boy?
No, the Hound we first met. They had King Robert had a joust, and in King's Landing when he returned, and it was the Mountain versus the Hound, and the Mountain whooped the Hound's ass, I believe. Right, and then somebody was telling Sansa the story of what happened to the Hound while they was in the crowd.
Well, yeah. Auntie.
So that was when we first met them, and then he was the Kingsguard for a while, up until he quit. But he used to wear that Hound mask, so you never really got to see his face much.
His melty face, his Dwight face. He fucked the king. Boy, when he said that when he left, when I tell you that was the funniest shit ever.
I was like, that's what I've been saying.
Boy,
about time.
He was like, fuck the king. And then went out there and died. I still think it's a chance that the Hound is alive, but we ain't gonna even talk about that. Because if I ain't see him die, so I'm not counting it.
That would be crazy.
Honestly, since this is a season 1 podcast, let me make predictions on everybody that I think is gonna outlive the show. I honestly, truly think that Jon Snow is gonna outlive the show. I don't know about nobody else, but the only one I got true confidence in is Jon Snow outliving the show. I'm pretty sure Tyrion outlives the show. I mean, it's just me guessing. I don't know. I don't know if they kill Daenerys.
Pissed off too, but if Daenerys goes, it's gonna be at the very, very end because she has to. Her story. I mean, the only reason I think she's safe up until the very end is because she champions her own storyline on the other side of the world. You kill her, that cuts everything off over there. They're not gonna do that.
Exactly, and her story would have had no point.
Exactly.
In the plot this entire time. So, I mean, I guess you could say Daenerys
that's the only character I think has plot armor, at least up until the end.
And then they done made a whole fucking spinoff about her people, a prequel. Right. So, I mean, and the Targaryens built all that shit. It's only right that Daenerys come back and claim
at least fight for it.
What's
there gotta
hers.
be some huge battle between her and whoever's sitting on the throne at the time. Like, yeah, I think Daenerys will at least make it to the end, to the very last episode. I agree with Jon. I think he'll outlive. I think Arya will outlive. I don't see Sansa surviving. She's just not meant for this world.
I'll be surprised. If I had to pick 4, it would be Jon Snow, Arya, Daenerys, and Tyrion. Now, the only one that I would bet money on is Jon Snow. I wouldn't bet money on nobody else. But if I had to pick 4, it would be those 4.
I would bet money on Arya.
You would. I want Arya to make it. That's my girl. I hope they don't kill her because she got her own story going on right now.
And that's the thing about this show. Like, they split the cast off so quick and divided everybody's storylines up. Like, I didn't... And The Walking Dead does that, but it's for a limited time. And I think...
And they bring it back together because at some point
and
we
I
need
think
to
that's
relive.
why I like The Walking Dead more, because it's the sense of family, it's the sense of coming together, it's, you know, surviving together, coming, you know, we were people who was never going to meet, you know, we came together and became family. We love each other, you know, like they fell in love with each other, like, you know what I mean? Like, that is a true sense of family. And I loved those, you know, those highs of them coming back together and fighting for a common goal. With this show, they just get further and further apart from each other. It's almost to the point where they don't even be, well, some of them are dead. So it's like, they're never going to see each other again. Like,
Arya literally been on the run.
And that's the thing, like, we never got to see the Starks as a family unit other than that first episode. And I think that's what bothers me so much.
And we will never see it because they were kids.
And
now they're literally probably older than me in real life.
If they did a prequel of that, they could only really use Ned, Robert, and Kat because they're going to look generally the same.
They can't use none of the kids. And nobody want to watch that. When we actually got to see the person who plays Bran as a little boy. I don't even know his name, but we got to actually see him as a little boy. That would be weird. First of all, it's not a podcast episode if we don't talk about Walking Dead. So that was funny that you said that.
Have to. I mean, those were the two big shows that, you know, competed for each other back then because they was both Sunday night shows. But yeah, I think this show, and I think that's why I be so in my feelings about shit, because like it pisses me off that they're on these journeys, suffering, fighting for this, and then they just be dying, and it's just like, what the fuck was the point? Like, at a point it just felt like they was doing shit to do shit. But I get there's a common story. I get that. But at the times and the moments, it just be like, why? What am I really watching here? What am I watching?
We got to talk about... Oh, yeah. Wait, let me say this real quick. So, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. The thing I don't like about Game of Thrones, it's becoming better as the show goes on, but especially in the beginning, it's not focused. Like, it is focused, but why do I have to keep up with 30 characters?
Because they're not coming together.
And they all mean something.
There are always several storylines.
All these different storylines.
Yeah. And that was like, it's hard not to jump ahead, but it's like, once Robb and Kat died, that storyline was done. It's shut out. It's over. So it's like, we just spent all this time and they didn't even go out in a battle? Like, what am I watching here? Like, I'm shocked if that's what you were going for. Yes, it was an intricate, built-up plot. And, it you know, when you look at it, it is genius. But it's like, what is the point?
I wonder if we ever going to go back to Winterfell and it, like, return to its former glory. So, because it's like its own kind of, like, it's really kind of its own independent...
It's the capital of the North,
if you will. It's not under King's Landing. It's a month away. That's why Cersei called it the Frozen Wasteland. That's literally what she calls the North. So I like that.
Yeah, they had said
they're not
King Robert was like the first to go to the North in years. So it's like,
yeah, because who want to go up there?
When there's winter, it's damn near impossible to even get from the south to the north. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot.
No. I just want to say this name and get your reaction. Walder Frey.
I say his name every night before I go to sleep. Walder Frey, Cersei, Tamara, Mary.
Not like Arya.
I say their name. Oh, I hate him so fucking much. He was he in the first season? What did he do?
Yes. I'm reading the Baylor right now, the episode Ned got killed in. The first sentence say, Robb is granted permission by Gross Walder Frey to cross his fortified bridge, if he marries one of Frey's daughters. Because remember, we needed to go across his bridge.
Cat went to negotiate, and then he gonna have the audacity to say, yeah, I want your son to marry one of my daughters, knowing damn well they all ugly.
all of them.
Pissed me off. Like,
All of them ugly. Cause he ugly. I mean, I don't know what they mamas look like, but when I tell you Walder Frey probably number one on my shit list, I ain't gonna even lie to you.
He is.
I'm talking about he will be on the throne rubbing like a 12-year-old girl titty. And I'm like, bro, who signed up their child to be this actor in this thing? Like, do they, like, I'm talking about children.
Okay,
sir.
and I said this too in season 1 because I feel like season 1 has the most nudity. There was a scene where there was little kids running through King's Landing butt naked, showing everything. I'm like, huh? What is we? What? Why?
Where is y'all
mom? That? Like, why are they doing this? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, who is signing their kids up to be on this show? Like, the check had to be fat because this is crazy. I ain't sending my kid on no show like this. Like, what is going on?
When I tell you, I couldn't even begin to tell you. I don't even know. Everybody was telling me that though, because I'm watching Game of Thrones for the people. Let's be serious. We watching it for the people. We in it for the community.
Because I had to quit a couple times.
They did warn me though. They said there's a lot of nudity, it is a lot of sex, and it is a lot of violence. And they did not lie to me. They said mush, because they know how I am. They was like, mush.
They didn't tell me that.
Like, you need.
They didn't tell me nothing.
See, they prepared me. They told me.
Because they laughed in the deep when I had like extreme reaction. Because we in a broth, I'm having a conversation with my people on the camera, and then it just cut to a sex scene. They just moaning. I'm like, in the middle of my conversation, we just clapping cheeks. Like, what is happening? Like,
Literally.
every other scene I'm trying to talk and they clapping cheeks. I'm like,
I be sitting there, I be like, yeah, damn. And then she got the dragon egg. Sir, just every 10 minutes, it's a titty. It's always a titty.
It's not an episode of Game of Thrones there in a titty in it.
I'm telling you, it's always a titty, little ass, something. I'm like, we get it, y'all. Like, we get it. Like, so yeah, that's something I had to get used to watching Game of Thrones. I'm still not used to it though. I'm just not surprised by it no more. I just be like, can we not?
What? I don't know if it was season 1, but there was a scene where Littlefinger was trying to have a very important conversation, and they sitting there clapping cheeks in the back loudly.
He just be talking like it's not there, but you never see him with no woman.
Exactly, because
which I be questioning Littlefinger. Like, so what do you like? Well,
he's in love with Cat, and that's really what he was waiting for. But
I know, but Cat been married, sir. All these years.
You know. And they mentioned it. I think it was season 1. We
know why Varys ain't got no woman. He promised
to Lysa that he would marry her, and that was why.
Had he been promising her all this time?
Well, you know that. You watched season 4.
I knew he promised it to her, but I'm saying, like, from the beginning, we've never seen Littlefinger so much as hold a hand with a lady.
No, I think 1, because he only ever truly loved Cat. And then 2,
I know they got something to do with it, but you ain't even got no holes every now and then, sir. Nothing.
I don't think he want. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. I never really thought about it like that.
He literally wake up and plot and scheme. That's literally all he do.
He probably also don't want to mess with none of his own ladies because he just probably see them as, you know what I mean, like
them his employees.
He's like, I'm not about to mess with my product. Plus, he don't want nobody to get attached to him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he don't really want no heat. Like, he don't want nobody too focused on what he's doing. And I think that's really what it is. You know what I mean? Like, he can move in the shadows because ain't nobody really watching him. And I think he wants to keep it that way. If you have somebody falling for you, they're going to be in your business. And he don't want that. So I think that's the main reason. But you know what? Varys is like that too. Not only because he don't have no genitals, but it's like, he said he just is not interested in men or women. He just wants to focus on other things, like his activities and that's his scheming, whatever he's truly planning. So that's just how him and Varys are.
I'm not surprised he don't really got no sex drive because he was castrated as a child.
But he said even before then he didn't have that motivation. He didn't care.
That's crazy. How old was he? I know he was young.
I don't remember the exact age.
He was young.
No idea. Yeah, I don't know. But can we talk about Varys?
How did you feel?
When I really did appreciate him was when Ned was locked in the cell
and he was coming. He was the only one that visited and gave him anything. Like
He did
Yeah.
visit him. I forgot
he would do
about
anything but let
that.
Ned out. He's like, "Is there anything I can do?" And didn't Ned say something about unfree these chains? He's like, "Well, I can't do that."
Right. He's like, I keep
But
you in
anything
company,
else,
though. I'm Littlefinger would never do
Right.
that.
I've always appreciated Varys. I always see him fighting for the greater good.
Also, am I the only one that got mad when people would call Arya a boy and she literally does not
No,
look
I
like
like
a boy
that
at all?
because I realized that could be her disguise.
I like the disguise, but
She don't look
even
like a
before
boy.
she was in hiding, people
She
would
don't
say
look like
she
a
a
boy.
boy. They'd be like, little boy. I'm not a boy. Like, literally, people would always call her a little boy, and she'd be like, I'm not no boy.
I think it was just to show the way she dresses, the way she carries herself. It is more tomboyish, you know, because most girls are trained to walk a certain way, talk a certain way, and Arya defies all of that. So I think that's why everybody just assumes she's
Facts.
a boy.
I probably relate to Arya the most.
I do too, in the sense that she has a strong sense for justice.
Arya is the definition of leave
And-
me alone. And Arya is the definition of leave me alone.
Yeah, I don't know. I just vibe with Arya in just so many different ways. I love her sense of justice. She calls bullshit. You know, she don't forget, and I don't forget neither. I know exactly who did what and when they did it on, and I'm pissed about it. I ain't gonna forget. So I'm always rooting for people to go down, and that's what my people be saying. They be like, "Yo, hate for these characters is strong." I be like, "Yeah."
Facts. Like, when I say I hate somebody, I'm very serious. It's very black and white. Like, every Lannister except
I say
for Tyrion.
Tyrion is the only
completely black and
Lannister
white.
with rights.
I hate all of them.
Fuck the rest of them.
That's the only one. I hate all of them. I'm reading the summary for episode 10, obviously Fire and Blood. Disguised as a boy, Arya is drafted into the Night's Watch alongside Gendry. Jon rides to meet Robb, who has just been crowned King of the North by his bannermen, but is convinced to return to the Wall by Sam and co. Blew me. Because I want the Stark kids to be together so bad. They've been broke up since season 1.
Yeah.
The Night's Watch goes beyond the Wall to find Benjen. Dany's son dies, his life having been traded for Drogo's by the witch's spell. Drogo's tribe has left, with their leader alive but in a vegetative state. Dany smothers him in a pillow. How did you feel, sir, when Drogo came back that he wasn't really back? I knew it wasn't going to work from jump. And I was like, Daenerys, you should keep your baby. I don't remember if I said that, but I know that's how I feel.
Yeah, I felt so bad for Dany because first of all, I understood where the witch lady was coming from. Like, y'all just killed all her family, her people, raped them. You know what I mean? Like, her revenge is justified in that sense. The problem I have with it,
because we know Drogo ain't no innocent man. He be out here in them streets, right, with his people. He ain't become king for nothing.
My problem is she took it out on Dany, who wanted to help her. Killing Drogo,
Facts. Because she's the one that's
right? Killing Drogo, I can understand, but killing Daenerys' baby and then letting her live, that's too much. You crossed the line there, so I couldn't fully agree with her revenge. I understood it, but I didn't agree. I was kind of upset, honestly. But I also low-key didn't want Dany to be with the Dothraki. So I was feeling a lot of things.
I didn't want her to be with them. I just wanted her to be protected because she been abused enough. I just want her to be, and I know wasn't shit gonna happen to her when she with them.
But at the same time, I'm not comfortable with them just going around in villages and raping and killing folks. Like, I don't want to see that all day, every day. And neither did she. So that's why I was like, I'm kind of glad she's away from all that.
And the way it happened, they ended it with a bang.
Yeah.
And then she did what she saw in her dream.
And then she walked through the fire. Her dragon eggs hatched at the end of that season.
I'm trying to think. So I think but wasn't it the funeral for her baby? Like the burning? Ain't that where she put the eggs? Or did she make that thing by itself?
I don't remember where the eggs were. I just know she started the fire because she burnt the witch. Because I remember the witch was like, "You won't hear me scream," and then she burnt the witch, and the witch screamed.
Yeah,
and then Dany walked through the fire. Everybody like,
Wait, so when did she put the eggs in there?
I don't know if she was carrying them.
Because the eggs was burning first before she walked in there.
Because the lady was... was tied up to something. So maybe they was next to where they was tied up. I don't know. I just know she walked into the fire and then walked out, and they was like on her hand and their shoulders.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So
They was somewhere in the fire.
I'm happy you said something because I completely forgot that she burned the witch. So she set up that whole thing, burned the witch, and then she did what she saw in her dream. She hatched them eggs. Yeah, she walked in that fire, and something knew in me that she wasn't gonna die.
The
I didn't know
signs
what
were
was
there
gonna happen, but when I was
because
watching,
remember
I knew it was gonna
something she did in the same episode. They had the golden crown. Didn't she she picked something up that was hot and it didn't burn her, but it hurt.
You
it
can't
burned
burn
her
the
blood.
dragon.
And then she was like, "You're not the true
Yes.
dragon or something."
Yeah, because you can't burn a dragon. But didn't she say that after her brother was dead? Because that was when it really
had he
showed
been
that,
immune,
like,
the
yeah,
golden crown thing wouldn't have killed him. It wouldn't have worked.
it wouldn't have worked. Yeah, like that wouldn't have worked on Daenerys. It would have just probably fell off or whatever. That would.
And in the first
So,
episode,
okay.
remember right when the Viserys stripped her, and then he walked out. She got
went in
in the
hot
hot
ass
water,
water.
yeah, and it didn't burn her. And then there was like Khaleesi or whatever. They're like, and then she just. I thought I read it wrong initially. I'm
And
like,
Yo, I thought she was just
I
so
thought,
used
I
to
thought
it
she was just kind of like numb, like dead inside, like hurt that.
and trying not to scream because her face was so straight when she was walking. I'm talking about you see the steam coming off this water.
Right.
Steam,
So
sir.
I realized that was I misread that initially, and that the Targaryens were immune to fire, which is a thing I had to also, come accustomed to by the end of that season. It's like this magic stuff is real. Like,
Oh, wait till you see House of the Dragon.
I didn't know that about
Are you
the
gonna
show,
watch
and I
House
didn't
of the
know to
Dragon?
what extent. You know what I mean? Like that
Mhm.
that magic is crazy and it's real. Like that lady did some voodoo witch shit. Danny can really walk through fire. Like that is crazy to me. Like I didn't know that this show was like that. That's what it was about. So I'm thinking. I literally thought this
So
was
you-
a
are you
grounded
gonna
ass
watch
show
it?
until I saw them White Walkers. But even with the White Walkers, I was like, okay, well,
Are
the
you-
humans surely ain't got no powers or abilities or nothing. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna
After
watch
I
House of
finished
the
Game of
Dragon?
Thrones, yeah.
Oh, damn, that's a
I know.
long
Well,
time.
I only got
I'm
I only
going
got
through the
23
notes.
episodes left.
It's nothing.
I watched about 8 in a month,
Damn,
so probably
so
about
I
3
got-
months.
So if you got 23,
Yeah.
I got 26 left. Okay. I'm going through this summary. I'm going to make sure we ain't missing nothing because season 1 had a lot going on, and I have a lot of feelings about season 1. Hated everybody, only loved like 3 people.
Yeah, season 1 was rough. I think we did get just about all the characters though, the main ones.
Yeah, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we got introduced to Master
Maester
Aemon in
Aemon.
season 1. How
I
you
like
feel about
Maester
him?
Aemon. Oh, Maester Aemon, that's the one at the wall, right?
Yeah, one of Daenerys' long-lost
He was
relatives.
cool people. I liked him. Yeah,
He's a
when he was revealed
Targaryen.
to be a Targaryen, I was shocked. But I fucked with him. He was cool
Mhm.
people. He always looked out for Jon. Again, he's one of those characters I felt was morally good. He was just cursed because his name.
Yeah, I fucked with him. You know, it took me till season 5 to realize he's blind. You know, I never
I didn't
knew
know
that.
that either. I thought he went blind.
No, he's been blind. Well, he's been blind the whole time. And I mean, obviously, clearly, he's been at the wall so long he can go around with his eyes closed. But he's blind, and I didn't realize that until season 5.
I didn't know.
I'm so serious, because I would swear he would be looking dead at them like he could see them, but he can't see shit. So I feel so stupid, and I'm good for catching on to
Right.
stuff. So the fact that he's blind and I just now caught him in season 5, sir,
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
he's been blind the whole time.
Now,
Yeah,
I
he
forgot
can't
about
see.
the wall. So how you feel about Sam?
You know what? Sam, I like Sam. Sam is the definition of too good for this world. Because Sam stayed in his lane. He never wanted to go to the wall. His family sent him to the wall because ain't he a bastard
they sent
or
the
some
first.
shit? Or his dad disappointed in him because he can't fight or
it
something?
wasn't. Yeah, he ain't a bastard. It was just some stupid reason his dad didn't like him. I can't remember.
Yeah, like they really wanted Sam to toughen up. Really, is what I think it is. Cause Sam be reading, he be in that damn library. That's why he know how to read so good. Cause all he do is read. Like Sam stays in his lane. But at least if smoke do come his way, he'll try to
And
fight.
that's what I respect about
He'll
him. At least
try.
you gonna try. He ain't gonna necessarily
I
just
fuck
run.
with Sam.
You know what I mean? He gonna stand his
Mhm.
ground. He might get his ass whooped. But if he gonna stand his ground.
And he don't care. I love Sam. He stay in his lane. He's sweet. He ain't pretending to be nothing.
I'm glad
he
you
ain't.
said that.
And but
Because
then
somebody
he
told me
did
they was
try to
annoyed
fight.
by Sam and they didn't like him. I was like, what? I'm like the most morally good and just character on Game of Thrones. You don't like?
Oh my goodness,
I'm
they don't like
if you don't
Sam.
like Sam, I'm afraid to ask who else you don't like. I'm like, dang. Sam, I love Sam.
Right?
But
Mm-mm.
there's also
It's Daenerys' daddy. It's her daddy.
Aemon? Or the Mad King.
In episode 3, Lord Snow, we learned that Jaime killed the Mad King, Aerys Targaryen, Dany's father, and is therefore known as the Kingslayer. So I always be wanting to say, I don't know where I be getting uncle from, but that's her daddy. Okay, so Jaime killed Daenerys' daddy.
So
that means she.
I think in season 1 we had Alistair. How do you feel about Alistair?
Who the hell is Alistair? I feel like I'm supposed to know who
The
that is.
motherfucker that hates Jon on the wall. Like he's the first. No, he ain't the Lord. He's the first Ranger, right? He's the first.
Wait.
Ranger.
So it's two of them in charge at the wall. It's the one bitch that hid when the wildlings came, and then it's the other one. You talking about the
in
one
season
that hid?
1, somebody else is in charge of there's a Lord Commander. I forget his name, but he's the one that died in season 3 to the mutineers. And then Alistair took over.
It.
But Alistair was
I'm
first
finna
Ranger.
Google it right now. Alistair, Game of Thrones. Boy, I am not finna type Sir. Oh, it's Alistair. Yeah, this the one that didn't run.
Yeah,
this
he
the
don't
other
be running.
one.
One thing I can say about him,
it was the bald head when they ran. It was the chunkier bald one, right? That ran.
He was the one at King's Landing when Littlefinger he was part of the city's watch. He was the leader of them. And when Ned went to him and said, we're going to take, arrest Cersei or whatever, he betrayed him on Littlefinger's, whatever Littlefinger said to him. So, and then in season 2, when Tyrion became Hand, he said, I don't want you to betray me like you did Ned Stark. So he sent him to the wall. So, but yeah. Mm-hmm. So how you feel about Alistair?
I don't like him because I understand you at the wall, you hard on people, but they be on Jon ass.
Yeah.
On his
I hate him.
ass.
He's one of my top favorite characters. Like up there with Cersei, Joffrey.
What else has he done?
He just treats everybody like shit. So apparently he was one of the Targaryens' #1 supporters. And Robert sent him to the wall after Robert took over.
That was
so he don't fuck with Robert or Ned. So he sees Jon as an extension of Ned, and that's why he treats Jon like shit.
So if Daenerys rolled up, he'd be like, "Yo, thank you, Queen,
probably.
Thank you."
Because he fucks with Targaryens.
Okay. Because I just know that I don't like nobody at the wall. The only people that's okay at the wall is Jon, Sam, and Master Aemon. That's literally it. I don't like nothing. And a couple of people that roll with Jon, all of them ain't shit. I don't like none of them at the wall.
I forget the rest of it. I think I only know Pip.
But yeah, I agree. Because most of the people at the wall are fucked up anyway. They're rapists and murderers, and I don't fuck.
Exactly, and I can't. Cause see, I ain't jumping ahead. It's okay. I wish we could have did this one as soon as we both finished season 1, because we wouldn't have no point of reference for.
I know.
Well,
we about to get caught up on these, and then we can do that. So.
Right now, we already been on here for an hour and a half. I'm gonna make sure I ain't missing no points, cause I've been needing to talk about this. Who was Gendry?
Gendry is Robert's bastard. He was the blacksmith. Him and his daddy was blacksmith.
The one that's okay. I never knew his name. Gendry, one legitimate heir to the throne, and the suggestion that Robert's blonde-haired offspring are unlikely to have come from his strong seed. Facts, because Robert Kids is not blonde, huh? And this the thing. The only reason that nobody has you need to watch House of the Dragon because I was about to make another reference. The only reason that people look at Cersei kids and they don't think nothing of it is because her kids look like her.
Right.
Now, if her kids didn't look like... Now, if her kids would have came out with the Targaryen platinum blonde hair instead of that sandy brown, then they'd be like, that's not Robert Baby. But because her kids look like her instead of looking like Robert, I feel like that's another reason why she...
Yeah, ain't nobody looked at the books
and if
like
you watch...
Ned. Because Ned never even put it together until he read the books and realized all the Baratheons have
He
black
never
hair.
thought about it.
There's not a single one of them that don't have
all of them.
it. So he's like...
It's like the Targaryens. That's their thing.
Gene.
The
Can't change that.
The Targaryens and the Baratheons are the only two I know that have very distinctive features. And the Valyrians, which are somehow a part of the Targaryens, they got that old heritage, that platinum blonde bleach hair, that white hair.
Oh, I don't know about
the Valyrians got the
I
same
thought
hair.
the Valyrians was just a metal. I don't know what. No, wait, no, Valyrian, yeah, it's a
The
language.
black man with the locks. Old and Valyria is a place. That's where the Targaryens come from, somewhere over there. That's why Targaryens speak Valyrian.
So, do we know any Valyrian people?
They come from old. Daenerys speaks old
She speaks it,
Valyrian.
but she ain't. Oh, okay, so she's a Valyrian. That like
The Targaryen, the. Oh, you haven't see you anyway. There, whenever you hear them say old Valyria, that's where the Targaryens were before King's Landing. Yeah, so that's why they speak
I just
Valyrian.
knew Valyrian was,
and that's
a
why
metal,
you'll hear
like the Valyrian swords. I know that the language High Valyrian.
Yeah, that's all Daenerys people. That's all her heritage. That's all her bloodline. That's all her heritage. Valyrian steel, old Valyria, the place, the Valyrian language. That's why you will hear Daenerys. I don't remember where she was, but obviously everybody speak English. But she was around some people and she was talking shit like Valyrian is my mother tongue. Like, don't try me. Like, I don't remember what happened, but she started speaking Valyrian to somebody who thought that they didn't know what she didn't know what they were saying.
Because he was talking shit about Daenerys and he didn't realize she spoke High Valyrian. And so she understood every word he was saying, but she played it off like she didn't know.
Every word.
Yeah.
And she was just, and then she started speaking and he was like,
that was one of the best.
Awkward.
I can't wait till we talk about season 3 because that was a season. Mm.
Yeah. Speaking of season 1, Tyrion stops at Winterfell with a gift for paralyzed Bran and blueprints for a saddle that allows him to ride without the use of his legs. Tyrion, any other Lannister would never.
He's only Lannister with rights.
Any other Lannister would never. The only one.
The only one.
Samwell Tarly. I've never seen Sam's name spelled out before. That's funny. Samwell Tarly. That's funny. Oh, is this why Ned was into books? Look, at King's Landing, Ned looks into the previous hand of King Jon Arryn's death. Is that why Ned was in the books? I'm talking about Ed. They be like, Lord Eddard Stark. He got too many names.
Yes. I don't know why he was looking at somebody gave him the book as a gift. Wasn't it Littlefinger? Maybe not. Maybe somebody gave him that book specifically.
No, somebody might have gave him the book or hinted that he needed to go look at it.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
Or was it already on his desk?
Somebody gave him the book.
Don't give me.
They were telling him to read it, and that's when when he actually sat down to read it, he started realizing like, okay, Baratheons all black hair. He's like, oh, so I can't remember who set that. It was probably Littlefinger. You know, he'd be plotting. Now we need to look it up because that's an important plot piece.
Same. Please look it up. I love the names of the Game of Thrones episodes. Cause I'm trying to make sure we ain't miss. Cause season 1 was a whirlwind. Can you please hurry up and watch House of the Dragon? I know you watching 10 million things at a time, but like House of the Dragon, I have to compare it to Game of Thrones. I have to. It's a prequel. Now that I've seen season 1, the whole thing of House of the Dragon, and obviously I've been saw season 1 of Game of Thrones, I don't care what nobody say. Ever since the first episode, I've been saying that House of the Dragon
Everybody's
is better
been
than Game
saying
of Thrones.
that to me. Everybody's like, House of the Dragon's way better.
It is. House of the Dragon is more focused. It's still a lot of people and a lot of stuff to keep up with, but it's probably half as many people. Like, when I tell you, like, the one thing... And another thing, too, I go so long in between episodes of Game of Thrones that I watch. I don't retain information as well as I would if I would watch Game of Thrones on a consistent basis. There are too many people to keep up with in Game of Thrones. It's not focused. It's too much. When I tell you House of the Dragon is focused and every conversation means something,
And
you
that's
need
what
to watch
I
House
had
of
to
the
tell
Dragon. It's
people
not
in
as many.
this, like when I'm reacting to this, like I don't have time to focus on the secondary plots that be happening because I'm trying to keep up with the main plots and the main characters. Like, because there be
I'm trying to keep up with the
second,
damn throne and why
yeah,
everybody
because
into it.
there's so many plots with this show. Like, I can't catch everything. Like, I catch a lot of things when I'm editing because there's so many storylines. Like, for example, I have to jump ahead because it's the only example I got. Season 3, when with the Karsark before they left Rob, right? Because he was already pissed off about his sons. I didn't know nothing about what was going on with him. I didn't realize that Jamie slaughtered one of his sons in season 2, and he was mad about that, and that's why he was mad about Kat leaving. Like, I never paid that storyline much attention because he was just a background character.
That's why he was mad at Kat
Right,
for
but
letting
come to
Jamie
find
go.
out that was a whole important storyline that I just never really paid attention to. But
Yeah.
that's because there's so much
Yeah.
going on that I just don't. It's not that I wasn't.
Mhm.
Maybe I caught it, but maybe I just didn't retain it. You know what I mean?
The only thing that I don't remember is names. When I tell you I am so bad with these white people names. I am so
I butcher
bad.
names all the time. I called Rickon Rickton for the longest. My comments is like, I wish you would stop calling him Rickton. There is no T in that name.
You might as well just call him
I
Rick
might
for
as well.
short. Tell me how Rick talk.
I'm
That's
like, where's
funny.
damn Rickton? They're
That's
like, it's
funny.
Rickon. I'm like, oh, my bad. Shit. There's other names I butchered. Danny's dragon Drogo.
I am so weak. I just don't remember their names, period. Like, I'll be like, that's the motherfucker that did. Like, I could keep up with all the plots and the side stories, but I cannot tell you their names.
I'm
I
getting better.
cannot. And I might fuck around and forget. I remember, but I couldn't tell you where they're from. If you're not from Winterfell or King's Landing, I don't know where
think
you're
I
from.
pretty much got the houses down. I think I know. I'm good on the characters now.
Where does Walder... Oh, no, I'm finna quiz you then since you think you got it. Where's Walder Frey
He's from the Twins. He lives in the Twins. That's his own place.
Where is Lady Tyrell from? Which we did get introduced
House
to the
Rose.
Tyrells this season.
They live in the High Gardens.
Okay, you know, the only reason I remember them is because
Me
I
too.
love the Tyrells. I love the Tyrells. Oh my goodness, we gotta talk about the Tyrells.
They ain't even
first
in the first
of all.
season.
And yes, they are.
What they do?
In episode 5, The Wolf and the Lion. Sir Loras Tyrell, the Knight of the Flowers, and Renly Baratheon's lover.
I remember.
Him and Renly was fucking.
I didn't know that was the first
fucking.
season.
Remember?
Okay.
Me neither. I thought that was season 2. Oh wow.
And what else did
Yeah.
they do? I mean, I remember that, but did they do anything meaningful?
It wasn't so much about the Tyrells at that point. It was just Renly, because Renly died not
died
that
in
much
season
longer
2.
after that. They was just showing like, because Renly never even got a chance to leave the house. Like, and he was fucking.
Yeah, he
Loras.
declared himself an
So
independent.
that was the
When Rob declared himself king of the North,
Yeah.
he declared himself the rightful king.
And he could do that because he's his brother. So yeah, anybody else would have did that would have been killed, but he could do that. So that's the only reason we was introduced to Loras Tyrell is because he was fucking Renly, and then he ended up having his own storyline later after Renly got killed by the demon baby, as I call it. But yeah, I love
Me
the
too.
Tyrells. Granny, we ain't gonna talk about her.
That's
yet,
my
but that's my
girl,
girl.
Lady
I
Olenna.
love
I love
Granny.
her.
I love her. We almost forgot to talk about Loras. I don't want to miss nothing. You know, we can do this all day. We need to quit.
There's so much to dissect.
It is. Ugh, I hate Cersei.
I don't
so
know who
bad.
gave Ned the book. I couldn't find it, and I don't want to look too deep and find a spoiler.
Oh yeah. Where's Westeros?
Yeah,
where King's
Westeros
Landing
has all
is,
the
right?
7 kingdoms in the wall.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Okay. I don't even want to say Theon's name. He don't even deserve for me to say his name because he was cool season 1, but boy, in season 2, did he change that or whatever season it was? I want to say it was 2. Who did Daenerys get them eggs from?
I want to say it was
Was it
It
mysterious?
had to have been Drora or some other miscellaneous background character. I know it happened in the first episode because I just watched it.
I know they got dropped off to her, but I don't. I know they got dropped off to her, but I don't know if the person that dropped them off is the person that like got them. Because like, where the hell did you get 3 petrified?
I don't know where they got
dragons
them from. I just know
Like,
it was like at the scene where they was getting Buck Wild and fighting on the wedding day. Somebody came up to Daenerys and gave her the box of the 3 dragons. No, it wasn't Drora because Drora
Nobody
gave
else
her
would've been
the
able to-
books from Westeros about the history. So somebody before that gave her the 3 dragon eggs. It was a miscellaneous background character.
So were they the ones who got the dragon eggs for her, or were they the ones just delivering them?
I don't know.
Okay, that's what I don't know. I don't know. The fact that Ned took his 2 daughters to King's Landing. I'm reading through these summaries to make sure we ain't missing.
Can I
nothing.
take 2 seconds to go to the bathroom?
Yes,
Be right back.
sir. Leave
I
the
will.
dog. I'll talk to the dog.
You ain't gonna be able to see her. She's short.
All them damn drinks, y'all. Tomorrow's gotta go pee. That's what them drinks do to you. Hold on. Ned and Caitlyn enlist to help to find the truth. Wait, who's help? Oh, Tyrion. Across the narrow sea, Dany, now pregnant with her husband's child, bonds with exiled knight Ser Jorah Mormont as she settles into her role as Khaleesi. Oh, yeah, that's the white man she had to send back. Which I don't understand why he was exiled either. I'm gonna have to ask Tamaj that when he come back. Arya began sword fighting classes with the renowned trainer from Bravos. Oh, I don't know where Bravos is. Let me actually Google the Game of Thrones map and pull this up. Game of Thrones Season 1 map. Now, y'all, I'm pulling up the Game of Thrones Season 1 map. Okay, so. Hold on. Shout out to these people who make these maps. I'm looking up a map of the 7 Kingdoms. Wait, I need where is it?
Not gonna lie, I was holding that
I'm
for like an
looking-
hour.
I already talked about you to the people. I said that's what
No,
the drinks do to you.
seriously, like but it's like a thing that runs in my family. Like when any of us drink, we just always have to like pee like quickly. Like if I would have normally peed like 3 times, but I held it all in, so it was just a long one.
That's so funny. I'm looking for a map
I have a map.
for the 7 Kingdoms. Please pull it up and share your screen.
I'm gonna just forward it
Because all the ones I'm
For
looking
you.
at.
so you can see.
Oh, wait. Let me see. Wait, I think I see one. Hold on. Still send the one you're going to send me. So. Oh, Dorne. That's why they be saying it like that. It's spelled Dorne.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want something to. Oh, first of all, I was about to ask you something. Where's Bravos? Because remember, Arya started getting sword fighting classes from the best dude in like Bravos.
Bravos is like way on the
Who's
upper
from-
hemisphere. Like I don't even think it's part of Westeros.
It's not. I know it's not. I just know they talk about it.
Yeah, we've been there a
sometimes.
few times. Yeah, it's like way out the way. Like, not you climbing on the table, ma'am. Please, you want to go over here? Okay. Okay.
Because that's one thing. Like I never know where they are unless it's Winterfell, which I know is way up north somewhere. King's Landing is south somewhere. Daenerys is across the narrow sea, but she been moving all around across the narrow sea. I don't know nothing else.
I'm about to share this photo with you. I guess I can.
Because I want to pop it up for the people. But you know I love a
All
map.
right, I just sent it to you.
And I just got it. Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Okay, so Westeros is like right here, and then it's the north. The lands of always winter. Where's the wall?
The wall separates, it's way true north, like probably the highest part you can go to on the map.
Yeah, and it separates them from where the wildlings live. The north. Okay, the Riverlands, the Vale of Arryn. Oh, y'all, I'm gonna put this map up on the screen. Dorne is way down south. Where's Highgarden? Oh, I see King's Landing, finally. Okay, so they really be over here. Woo, the north is far away.
I got another map for you I'm about to send. You can decide which one is better. They both give out different details. This one breaks them up, I think, like by houses. I think.
Yeah, I need one with both. Because Daenerys been all over here. On the other side. Of the Narrow Sea. Westeros.
Because Stannis lives in Storm's End, so that's like the southeast.
Who? Stannis?
The Highgardens is also in the south.
But where in the south? Where it say flowers. I see it. Highgarden. That's why. Look at it. It's in the middle, but down a little bit.
I don't see any other like landmarks that is by, like, like main ones. Like I see Casterly Rock.
Now where's Casterly Rock? I'll see it. Okay. Okay. Now where is King's Landing? Because everything is always at King's Landing.
See. Okay, King's Landing is where the water is, so that's in the southeast, right under the rivers.
Okay, and that's why they had the Blackwater Bay. Okay.
And plus, so if you
Dragonstone,
if you ain't really fucking with Winterfell, you got to go through the river runs too, which they're married with the Starks, the Winterfell. So you really got to fight through all of that.
Yeah, Winterfell is big. And all this
if
other
they were to like really be like super suspicious, the Erie's to the top right, which is Cat's sister. So it's like it really would have been hard. Like if the North was truly united, it would have been damn near impossible.
Yeah, the North is all over the place. If the North would be united, ain't nobody fucking with them.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that pissed me off with Lysa. Like, you really wouldn't side with your sister and Ned. Like, you wasn't gonna go to battle for them. Like, when Robb needed help, they couldn't even go to their auntie. Like, you just gonna let them die? That's sickening to me. And you got one of the most fortified positions in Westeros. You got tons of people that sit there and don't do nothing. I mean, I understand wanting to preserve what you have, but at the same time, if we're prosperous in this war and Robb didn't lose a single battle, so why would you not want to side with that?
Robb was doing great, and that's why they had to snake him, because Robb was doing great.
Never lost a battle.
Robb was doing great.
Especially, and he's a teenager. Like, he looks older to me, but he's a teenager.
It's the beard. Yeah. It's the, like, full scruff, hair, everything. And all of the Stark kids they're gorgeous. Yeah. The Stark kids.
None of them are
so
adults
cute.
Yet. I think Robb in after the time jumps, and Jon might finally be 18.
Robb and Jon was
they are
18
now, I think, in current day, but they weren't at the start. They were like 16, 17. So yeah.
Wow. Looking like grown ass men wearing them all that damn fur because it's 2 degrees outside every day.
Yep. That's crazy.
Wow.
Which is crazy because it's like Sansa, Robb, and Jon, they all look older than they are, but then you look at little Arya, Bran, and Rickon, they look younger than they are.
Arya, all the kids, the oldest 3 looked older than what they were. The younger 3 looked their age.
Or younger.
Like, Robb was giving 21, young man. Like, That's what he was giving. John, okay, I would say if Rob was giving 21, John was
Yeah,
giving 18.
That's fair.
But it's the stuff that they wear too that make them look older. Like if you was to just look at their face, Rob giving like, nigga, you really at least 30, but you giving 21, really, in the show. And John, I would say he was looking 18 to me. But yeah.
Yep.
But yeah. I don't see nothing else we missed. It looked like we done talked about the whole season
I
one.
think so. It was a good season. It was a good start to the series. It was enough to get me invested, enough to get me started. But I feel like for people who don't have a comment section, who don't have people like watching with them, how do y'all understand this? Like, it got to take several rewatches. Like,
I probably understand 50% more of the show just off of asking questions.
Yeah.
Or like I'm saying some shit that I don't understand and then they explain it to me. Because like I said, like I can keep up with the characters, the plots, and all that other stuff, but it be the history and why they beefing and where this place is in relationship to this place. Like, yes, they show you in the intro of the show, but it still don't be making sense. It be too much moving around. And because they focus on so many different characters and it's all over the place, how am I supposed to remember that? And I only watched a couple of episodes and I watched Game of Thrones so far apart. Like I just went 2 months without watching Game of Thrones. So if I was to, sit down and really watch it and really invest into it, I'll be able to remember better. But Game of Thrones has got too much going on. But I knew after the first season I was going to have to finish the show. Because from the moment I met Daenerys, I was like, okay, so what? Why she not queen? Okay. Daenerys need to get her throne back in the name of her daddy. It'd be nice if she got to kill Jaime at the end of the show. Predictions and hopes for the end of the show. We ain't finished the show, so we could say that part. We in like 2/3 of the show.
I want to see Dany rule. I want Dany to sit on the throne. I think, one, because it's going to go against the grain. We ain't never had a woman leading everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've never had the queen regent be in charge. It's always been the king. So I would like to see a change in pace. And I think from what I've seen of her character, she's compassionate enough to where she will care for the needs of the people. She's fierce enough to where she'll do what needs to be done. And I think she's has a good balance. I think she would be perfect. Of course, she's not without her flaws, and she is stuck in her ways, and there is past history, and there's a lot of things that are going to come into play for her, and she still has growing to do. But from what I can see right now, I think she would be a great ruler. If people would actually not cut up and support her, and she wouldn't have to do drastic things.
Please.
If they would act like they had some sense and gave her a chance, I think she could do well. Somebody like Jon, I don't see that being something for him. I would see him ruling the...
Hell no. He would never want to be
king. I could see him ruling, though, the North. You know what I'm saying? The Wall, for me, I don't ever felt like it was a fit for Jon. I don't think he ever really gave himself a chance. So I think I could see Jon ruling the North. Like I said with Sansa, I don't see her surviving the series. Arya, she's a warrior.
What if Sansa fuck around? Wait, what if Sansa fuck around and start whooping ass in season 7 and me and you just like...
That I'm serious, that would truly shock me because I've seen no sign of that.
It would shock me too.
I've had to accept
which
Sansa's a lover, not a fighter. I had to accept that.
That girl is literally a lover, not a fighter. I'm about to bring up stuff from other seasons, but
it's hard not to. But
yeah, never get off
from what I see of her, if everything she's been through up to this point hasn't gotten her to fight, she ain't never gonna. Maybe she could lead. Maybe she can get to that point. But fighting, like, she's not no Arya. She's not a scrapper.
Yeah, she not at all. Like, Arya already done killed 1 or 2 people at this
point. And
point.
with Arya, I don't see Arya as a leader either. I see her as a warrior, as a fighter. So I don't know what.
I see Arya as whatever Arya want to be that
right.
day.
I can see
whatever she want to be.
Maybe as like
day.
The hand of the queen. Yeah. Hand of the queen. She could be Dany's right-hand lady.
Honestly, that wouldn't be... Yeah, you really dreaming the Game of Thrones. I don't think they'll end it that good because I know I obviously don't. I obviously don't know the ending of Game of Thrones, but I just know it's very polarizing in the Game of Thrones community. People either fuck with it or it's the worst ending of a great show. So, I don't know. My hopes and dreams for the end of Game of Thrones is for Daenerys to be queen, Arya to live and be whatever the hell she want to be, Jon Snow to live and be whatever the hell he want to be. Everybody put some fucking respect on Tyrion Lannister's name. Stop playing with him. Cersei die.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, okay, let me just do my to kill list real quick. Cersei, Baelish, Walder Frey. He got to go. He got to go. Is the mountain dead or is that man still testing on his body?
He's still in Frankenstein's shop.
Okay. Yeah, he is weird. So he dead basically, but yeah, it's even Frankenstein. He got his, but I'm gonna need for him to get his all the way. Like put him in the ground. Who else needs to go?
Sir Bolton, Ramsay.
Jamie got to go. Oh, Stannis got to go. Cause why you do your brother like that? I'm sorry, we ain't jumping ahead. Stannis got to go.
The Boltons, Ramsay, they gotta go.
Oh! We don't need to talk about Ramsay. Ramsay got to get off the streets. Wherever Ramsay is, it is not safe for anybody.
We're gonna talk about that eventually, but yeah, that is a crazy ass character. That is like it needs to die ASAP.
He's probably the worst character in the show. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's top. He top 3. Him and Walder Frey. Walder Frey, and Cersei probably my top 3. They gotta go. Cause but Ramsay might be number 1 because at least Cersei will draw the line at her kids. Walder Frey, he'll draw the line if you cross him, I still hate him. But he ain't as bad as Ramsay.
Business until you cross
Ramsay. He make other people do his dirty work. Ramsay will make up something and then go do the dirty work. It don't even got to be nothing wrong. He'll make up some shit. So Ramsay's real twisted. I can't believe you just reminded me of that man. Ramsay got to go. He is public enemy number 1. All right, we've been on here 2 hours. Say bye to the people. Tell everybody where they can find you. We got to go.
Yeah, y'all can find me at Big Bro and Little Sis Reacts. If y'all join my Patreon, y'all can get a season and some change ahead. I just completed season 5 reactions. They are all posted and available for y'all. House of the Dragons will come after I finish Game of Thrones. I just don't have time. Y'all can check out my channel because I do several other shows.
And y'all are here with me, so obviously y'all know where to find me. But let me remind y'all for the 10th time, everything that I'm finna be watching for the next couple of months, my list. This is the 100% confirmed. I'm already uploading these actively on my website. So House of the Dragon, I already watched all of it, and the first half is already on my website. I'm getting back into Fear the Walking Dead. I need to finish the other half of season 7. So I stopped in the middle of season 7. So I'm only going to finish Fear the Walking Dead because it's in the Walking Dead universe and I have to watch it and judge it accordingly. And I'm going to finish Tales of the Walking Dead because I only watched the first episode. I'm going to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogies because I have all of the movies on my computer and I haven't watched them. John Wick has been requested, so I need to watch them movies. Euphoria, I have all of the episodes to season 1, 2, and the 2 specials on my computer. So I will be doing those as well. From scratch, because everybody crying over their romance, and I'm finally finna watch a romance, because fuck y'all not just finna be having me watching people get killed all day. I'm sick of it. And, make sure I'm not missing. I'm only up to the 3rd Harry Potter movie. That's my favorite one so far. I gotta finish all of those. American Gigolo, last but not least, because why ain't nobody talking about Bernthal show? Yeah. And this is so. Me and Tamaj will see y'all on the next episode. I don't know if it's going to be the one after this, but the next episode is going to be with me and him talking about Game of Thrones season 2. So either it's going to be a House of the Dragon podcast that I'm going to do, or me and Tamaj talking about Game of Thrones season 2. So just stay tuned.
Later, y'all.
Bye.